taking a chance.
Hey, Rance, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am great, Rance. I'm doing great. Trying to fight something. I'm gonna make sure I get my defense up. Woo. Yes.
Yeah. So you loading up with some vitamin C?
I got the vitamin C, got the vitamin D, got that zinc popping. Oh, it's gonna take me a power pack when I get off here, and I think I'll make me a hot toddy.
probably need a little bit of rest also.
Yes, definitely. Been going. You know how we do things. We keep it rolling, but we gotta be still. So I'm really contemplating taking tomorrow out because I only have a light load. Definitely call them tonight. Say, hey, your girl got to do self-care.
Well, look, we back. What's going on? We're gonna get live. I'm gonna try to get you live anyway. All right.
Yes, get me live. Pull me out. Pull me out. I'm excited about this. This was a really good conversation last time, so I'm super excited to see what's in store for tonight.
Yeah, so this is a follow-up from Date Night Love and Respect. This is part 2.
Yes.
We had some really good responses from the last show. A few of the takeaways that we had were, what was some of those points, Yodi?
Wow. People were saying that, having situations, you have an understanding about the situations. And, we talked about stepping out, we as women, why we got so many shoes and it takes so long. And then the whole thing about love and what's the difference and what's poured into love and what's the difference between love and respect.
Yeah. So this was, we just celebrated Valentine's Day. Did you enjoy yours?
I did. It was all about Yodi, and I had a really great Valentine's Day, and I felt so good. Okay. And you?
Well, mine was well also. Spent a little time with my daughter. We actually went out to eat. Had some good conversation. So yeah, it was a good one.
That's awesome. That's good. That's the best way to spend Valentine's is with those ones, especially your daughter. Look at that. That was perfect. You showing her exactly how she should be, having her build her expectations or establish what will not go on with her. I love that, Rance. I love it.
I hope it works.
Sometimes we get sidetracked. We can get sidetracked, sidewound, and like, wait a minute, how we end up over here? Oh my goodness. So I will share something that was really interesting from our last podcast. I kind of got into some good conversations about our last topic.
Okay. What was some of the responses?
Yeah, some of the responses were like, definitely we tapped in about what's the difference between love and respect. Is there a difference between love and respect? And I was asked to pour out 4 different characteristics in love versus respect that I would need in a relationship. And I heard someone mention that the fine line between love and respect is that love is for someone specific and respect is something that you carry across the board. But even more so when you're in love with that person, intimacy, it's like that respect kind of rise to the bar.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Actually, I totally agree with that as well.
You had some really good points too last time. You was laying it out for us, honey. You had the people that was in that comment piping back. I was like, okay, Rand, you got to stir it up for us.
Yeah, the communication piece is vital, huh?
It is. In fact, that was one of my 4 traits I mentioned. I was like, I wrote down. I thought about it. I said, I would need commitment, communication, passion, and intimacy. And intimacy, I guess we got to talk about. It's not just like cuddled up. It's intimacy is that you broke it down last time really well. It's not just rolling up. It's the consideration of little small details of things, like
So
hey,
let's start with commitment then. So let me ask you then, what does commitment actually look like to you from your lens? What does that look like?
To me, it looked like I am in a place where I'm really wanting to like just pour all into it. I'm just going to give my all, be vulnerable, open to whatever may happen through the relationship, and just really giving my all and stepping outside and have no reservations. That's, to me, that's what commitment I think of it is no reservations. It feel good. So therefore just free fall free fall and just jump right in and just pour your all into it and just make it so it work. And I think that's where the other pieces come in about the communication.
You said a key word there. You used the word vulnerable. I think that vulnerability for a guy, for a man, is one of the hardest things in terms of like actually opening up for that level of commitment to be vulnerable to his lady. That takes a lot. You know, we have to really have somebody in our lives that we really truly trust. You know, so once you get a guy, you get him and he's vulnerable, you just know you got him.
Oh wow! See, ladies, did you hear that? Rand said, when you got the guy where he's vulnerable, I mean, you really got. And I guess that's a good point, Rand, because that means you really, for especially from a guy perspective, because we put so much pressure on our guys, and you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to be strong. But that's a really strong point, because when you are vulnerable, that means you're all in, like you're like no holds barred.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
deep.
You're sharing things. You're sharing dark places. You're sharing things that you have a fear of being judged by, and different things like that. So yeah, when you're vulnerable, you're just completely open.
Wow. And that's a really, and I think a lot of people may run from that because they feel like they have to be open and like there is not a boundary, and you're able to be open and to communicate. And I guess that where it really would fall in a place where you really trust that person for you to be vulnerable. You have a level of comfort where you just like, okay, I trust them. I'm just going to open myself up and just let it all hang out. And I think that's missing in most relationships, or some relationships. What do you think?
I think it's missing in a lot of relationships, but that goes to, those can be trust issues that can actually be broken. Even if you have been vulnerable, if you haven't necessarily dealt with hurts, or you're carrying, baggage from a previous situation, or just personal issues where you're not in a space to really truly let go, then you can really deal with those things on another level.
I totally agree with that. I could see that being like if you're a person where you may have came out of a relationship and you still kind of guarded, and you're you haven't dealt with those issues, and then you carry those into something new. It really kind of put a damper on what could have been a good relationship, because you're still holding on to those things. And do you feel like it's important for, like, when a person get out of a relationship, that there should be time for them to like take and just heal? Don't do nothing, just heal.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to. The older we get, Yodi, the more we just really start accepting certain things and start realizing, like, hey, that's not fair for me to actually go into this particular because we all have triggers, right? So if you were previously in a relationship, and let's just say it was a month out, and you jump into something else, there are certain triggers. The new person can do something where they don't even necessarily mean it. It could be something small, and it has nothing to do with what you're taking it as. And it could be a small trigger. It'll take you back to the previous relationship and will cause you to go into your shell, or whatever the case may be. So it's not fair. You definitely want to heal, and you don't want to spill things over into the next person's life. You want to go in with a fresh canvas.
I agree with that so much. And I think that's where that whole respect part come in, with love and respect, because I kind of like group them together. Like with love, you have the love, but then when you have the level of respect, then I think it forces you to like look at yourself. I always feel like, for me, when you respect yourself, and that means you're open to deal with yourself first and foremost, I think it makes it easy for you to kind of like heal, place that hurt. And I think we tapped on this before, and forgive that person that maybe had no idea that whatever they did in that previous relationship, it hurt you like that, and actually facing those things and forgive them, so that you can put yourself when you're open to embrace something new. So it's kind of like you said, a trigger if you haven't dealt with it.
Yeah, it might be a crazy person too. So just run.
You know what I mean? They out here left and right. Look, sheep, honey, wolf with the cheap clothes on. Wolf got on the sheep clothes, honey. They just crazy.
Yeah, and if they show you, Take note, all right?
Okay. What's that saying? If they show you who they first are, you better believe them.
Better believe them.
Oh my goodness, that is so true.
But the second point that you have was communication, right?
Yes.
Cousin, she peeked her head around and she kept whispering communication. I said, well, I looked over and I was like, yeah, that's the next point. That's the
Yes.
But you know what? Communication is extremely vital. So for you, what does that even look like for you?
Yeah, honestly, Rance, I really had to tap in with myself and really like open the door to me communicating with myself. And I had to understand who I am, what it is that I want. And I had to communicate with myself, because in order for me to communicate to someone else what my desires are, what I like, what I don't like, I had to be honest with myself and communicate with myself and really like tap in on the inside and say, okay. And I think that's a form of self-communication, of like an awareness, like, okay, listen, for me to communicate to you, because you don't know until I tell you. I think that tapping into who you are and understanding your likes and dislikes, that's the first step, I think, for communication. And then I think it make it easy when you are in that intimate relationship, or that cutting daily relationship, you can communicate, and it'll be easy because you know who you are and you know what you like and don't like.
You know what I hear?
Right.
I hear, I've heard women say that men, we don't communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of the number one things for women, is that guys, we just don't.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is from your experience? What do you feel is the easy way to actually get a guy to open up and communicate? What were some of the tools that you may have used that may have worked for you?
Oh wow! So for me, I felt like me expressing, hey, what I wanted, what I really was expecting in return, I'm going to deliver that. And just the level of comfortability, say, hey, listen, we are on this page together. The reassurance that you can let your guard down, and just know that I'm going to be honest with my responses to the things that we talk about, and just really kind of like take it in that form. Because I think if you're dealing with someone that may be guarded, or really guarded, then it's kind of hard, because you have to help. And that's the thing I think a person have to deal with on their own. But for me, in that relationship where it's like, okay, we're open, we're establishing that ground of communication. It's like communicating exactly what you expect, or what you desire, or what you would like to see happen, and just reassuring, hey, listen, we good here. We have a circle of trust that we can talk about things, so that it does lead to deeper things, and just with the surface things. Communicate your expectations, someone just commented on. And someone, it said, you have to, because some people say you shouldn't have expectations.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think of that. I think that you have to communicate your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you have to communicate your boundaries, because I think that's a form of communication. I think that's a respect thing too.
You know what? I want to add something to that, like from a guy's perspective. I think one of the easy ways to get a guy to open up and communicate is for a woman to understand timing. So let's just use this as an example. Let's just say a guy had a long day at work. He had a rough day at work, a hard day at work.
Yes.
There's some things that might be pressing, that a woman might want to talk about, or what have you. His lady might want to speak on.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets in the house, that might not necessarily be the time.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I totally understand. You need your downtime.
But I get it also, because a lot of times, when there's something pressing, you definitely want to get it off your chest, and you want to share it.
Yes.
But you have to understand, there are moments when you have to step back and allow time to breathe, and just
you have to decompress.
Really decompress and really understand, okay, hey, look. Oh, and even the approach on how you deliver what it is that you want to discuss and talk about. If it's met with the with the level of combativeness, then that's what you're going to kind of somewhat receive, is the individual's going to somewhat be on the defense. Absolutely. So it's all about delivery as well.
Truly, I totally agree with that. It's how it's positioned, and I think that's something I learned in my previous life, is how it comes across, and you have to like be quiet for a minute and think about it, because especially you're a person that's like just direct like that. You have to consider the feelings of the person and that personality that you're dealing with. Like, hey, let me be a little more compassionate and empathetic and maybe communicating in a manner where it is, especially when you identify, okay, you just, like you made a great point, Rance. You got home, you tired, you need a minute. So identify, hey.
But that goes both ways as well.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, it does. It goes both ways. Yeah.
So it's like being compassionate and empathetic for one another and their feelings. And
now listen, I'm not saying it where I'm trying to let the guys off the hook, because as it is.
Yeah, guys, no, you're not off the hook, guys. No, by no means are you off the hook.
Yeah, we do have to
cannot be off the hook.
I'm not saying that.
You get no waiver here. There's no waiver over here, okay? Nobody's off the hook. Nobody's off the hook. But communication is, and it could be, and some people, I'll tell you, this is something I had to do with myself, because I was trying to learn to be a better communication in my relationships. Wrote a letter to express myself until I learned how to verbalize that thing, and that's something that
can I be honest about something?
Yes,
so,
do tell.
So you said you write a letter.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Yes.
But let's just say, everything goes to text form nowadays, right?
Oh, well, yes. Technology.
So yes. Look, I'm going to just be honest. Those long text messages, guys don't read them.
They do like this. Tell it, Rance. Do tell it. What?
I'm just being, hey, listen, I just want to be honest. Those long text
well, I appreciate that.
We might read maybe 1 or 2 lines, but that's about
okay. Look, what you got? 1 second.
We don't.
One second. Well, I appreciate that transparency, and that's good because our listeners, look, tap in, ladies. Don't go writing a whole book or pieces. Just say, hey, listen, keep it short and simple and sweet.
Yes, keep it short, simple and sweet. If that's the case, please call me.
Yeah. Zeus agreeing. He is agreeing. Okay, Zeus, it's okay.
He agreeing with me?
He touching and agreeing. He said, okay, he had to come out and bring the big dogs out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yes, so no long drawn out 2-page text messages, nothing like that. Just short and simple. And what about we think this is a good idea, like for you tell me, like you had a conversation and you really need to expound on what happened, something popped off and you really need to talk about it. What about you set up a scene where it's going into a relaxed environment where you both feel relaxed and totally like comfortable, and you can have that conversation. So waiting, like you said it, timing.
Yeah, timing. So that's wisdom. That's depending upon the difficulty of the subject or the topic that needs to be discussed. Definitely, some things probably need to be approached in a different manner. So absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with that.
So change of the scene, change the
scene, environment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So what is your take on, I know we tapped on a little bit, because many people connect intimacy with just cuddling us and cuddling up. What's a good example for you? In guys' perspective, like what is a guy's perspective on intimacy?
Well, so from what I understand and what I've learned is intimacy starts way before you enter into the bedroom, of course. So, it starts through, I guess, understanding your partner, going back to communication, conversation, kind of somewhat just being at one and assurance. And that could be like, of course, we all have busy days. So just a small text or, hey, I'm thinking about it.
I like that. To let you know that you think it's being thought of?
Yeah, absolutely. A small gesture of, even if it's just some flowers here and there, whatever the case might be, but just to allow that individual to let them know that they're on your mind or they're on your heart. Even throughout the course of the day, or just kind of be more persistent and diligent in those areas. I think that's a good start.
I like that. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah. That's really good. Appreciate that.
Good?
Huh?
So
yes.
Is that good? Okay.
Yes, thumbs up. I love that. I think that's good. I think that's really good. And that's a start, like you said. And
So what about for you?
For me, I think it is what you said is that thought, hey, I'm thinking of you. It's that, typically if you're a person dealing with a woman that's like kind of very like independent, like that thoughtfulness of something, some tasks that she do every day and you just go ahead and do it for her. To me, I find that's very a thoughtfulness and an intimate type thing because you actually paid attention. So that means you were really listening and you were watching, and that means you tapped into my psyche. And that thing, when you tap into the psyche and you actually move, and that's where I think it evolved. Like when you show these things and they start being things you like, make you sit like, oh, okay, I like that. I think it definitely, that's a form of intimacy and open the door for you to like even more so connect. Okay, yes, I like that. There's a comment about the acts of service is her love language, and she would like, so that's, I like that, just the showing that is, that maybe we'll talk about this sometime. What is that book? It talks about the love languages.
Is it, I want to make sure I get the name correctly. Is it the 5 love languages or something like that?
Yes, exactly. That is it. The 5 love languages. And I think that's a good book to kind of read because it kind of give you an overview of different languages and different perspectives so that, when you happen to come across things, because I think love is a learning experience. Mm-hmm. And you said that as well. It is about experience. And I think love teaches you so much if you allow yourself to be open to continue to like learn. And if something didn't work out on this occasion, then don't go in a shell and get crazy and and weed it out. Tap in and say, okay, that didn't work, but these are some things that I learned for myself. And I think that's a form of being intimate with yourself.
So Yodi, listen, before we go into this last point, I want us to take a small break, go into the end segment, and take a look at this product that we have.
Okay. Let's get it. Uh-oh. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's coming.
Maybe she took a break. I'm not sure.
Well, let's keep going. Okay. There's a video delay. Okay. It's coming soon.
I think the last one was passion. We could just kind of go on until it comes. Passion. And so,
Now, passion is, passion is deep because I think passion it taps into where those deep feelings of emotions of love, where you're able to just kind of like express yourself of love. What is love? When you look at that person and you touch them and I think that's that passion behind it. Or you're very passionate about listening to someone. So it's not even just the touch, it's about passion about listening and tapping in. So that is what that passion to me is. That it's not just the touch, but it's also the passion about listening and we both doing so and moving in a way where you're passionate about making or correcting something that may have been a not so good experience that you two may have had. You're passionate about doing that thing because it means something. That person means something to you. So with passion, because you love and respect them, you're going to move in a way where they see or you each other see who you are. And you want
so just imagine if the communication is good. There's a really good commitment. The intimacy is great. Just imagine what that does for the passion.
Oh my goodness!
On both sides.
That's straight up TNT in it. Look, that's you floating way up here.
Hey.
I think that's when you see a person smiling like that, you're like, okay, something's going on right. Yeah. And that's something that I think we need more of. That is people having these conversations that we're having and really tapping in and saying, hey, where can I be better? And I think that's a form of passion when you're able to look at what your current situation is and want to make it better. Because I think passion is something that it continues to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Are we ready yet? Are we ready for the video? This Edge segment presents our ingrown hair treatment. An ingrown hair occurs when a shaved or tweezed hair grows back into the skin. It can cause inflammation, pain, and tiny bumps in an area where the hair was removed. Ingrown hair is a common condition that results from hair removal. To relieve existing ingrown hair and razor bumps, massage a pea-sized amount of the product onto the affected area twice daily until you see noticeable improvements. In severe cases, if you haven't noticed any change, please seek medical attention. TCMlifestyle.com.
Okay, they better seek some medical attention at them.
Yes. Hey, listen, those ingrown hairs are serious now.
Yes. You know what, Rance? I'm going to tap in like the ladies in the salon. They actually purchase that because some ladies, they can't get like waxing, but they do razoring. So they buy the ingrown hair, and it's been amazing. Even like clearing up like old scars. Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So ladies, it's for you as well, the ingrown hair treatment by TCM. And remember, you can purchase it at TCMlifestyle.com.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So, Yodi, we had another amazing show.
Yes, we have. Always, Rance. And love is always such the top subject to go into.
Yeah, you could never lose with love, right?
You can never go wrong with love. Love, respect, commitment. I love all this because I think it makes us a beautiful people because we're big balls of love, in my opinion. Let's see what we tapping in here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search for TCM Lifestyle. They can find us there. And what is this? What's that next one? Look, I need my
Mr. Lemonade. That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you check that out. That's with my brother Terry Armstrong. So make sure you check that out. If you want some business tips, make sure you definitely check that one out. That's going to be a great show.
Yes.
So look next week.
Yes. So what is the subject for next week? Did we even? That 1 week away tapped me away from our next subject.
I think we've been rolling, so I don't know what it is just yet, but we will make an announcement tomorrow.
So y'all make sure y'all tap in. So that's a good way for make sure that our listeners and viewers tap in to stay on cutting edge as to what we're going to talk about next. So y'all tap in and follow us on these Instagram, Facebook channels. Yeah,
chime in and leave your reviews, your comments, and we would love you guys' feedback as well.
Yes, we absolutely love it. It keeps us going. So, and I would think, hey, Rance, what do you think we have the viewers put in some subjects they want to discuss?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely drop those in the comment section.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So next week, Yodi.
Next week, Rance, I'm going to go in here and make me a hot toddy and get myself together so I can be on point.
All right, now. See you then. All right.